Hi everyone, I just wanted to drop by and talk to you about a subject that sometimes can be misunderstood but is a huge subject, and it is socialisation. So lots of new puppy owners or people that get a dog for the first time, they put a huge emphasis on socialisation. In fact, I think a poll that I did recently in the group revealed that the number one reason that people go to training classes is for socialisation, which is really, really important, and I totally agree. Where this sometimes goes wrong is what people's understanding of the word socialisation is. So I just wanted to really talk about that. And I pulled up some dictionary definitions, which I'll read to you. So the first one is the activity of mixing socially with others. And then the second one is the process of learning to behave in a way that is acceptable in society. And I love that second definition because that's what training is all about to me. That's what good training is about to me. And that's what we do at Nosy Barker. So socialization doesn't mean that dogs or two puppies or a group of dogs are all interacting in each other's faces, possibly rough and tumble, or absolutely playing together all of the time. Socialization is also about your dog behaving in an appropriate way whilst in a social situation. So that's why we like to keep our classes really small. That's why we only have 6 puppies in a class. Because if we had 20, that's really hard for those puppies to concentrate because they're like, oh, look, Fluffy's over there or Dave's over there. It's a lot for them to cope with. Only having 6 in a class means that there's less distraction and there's more chance that they're able to focus on you. At this, particularly for puppies, it's a really, really sensitive stage, and they are learning so much. What we want to teach them is to connect with you and to follow your instructions, your cues, even if they're in a social situation. And once they really are able to do that, when they're a little bit older, then you'll be able to release them and say, okay, go play. But you will be sure and confident in the fact that when you want to move on, or where if you think the play is getting too rough, then you can recall your dog and they're going to come back to you because your connection is so tight that when you ask them to come back, they're going to be pleased. Yeah, I'm going to go back. It's always good fun when I'm with mum or dad or with my family or with my handler. And I think that that's the bit that's really important to understand.
I have a question.
Okay.
When you were saying about play, how long do you think that dogs or puppies should be playing for at a time before they're interrupted?
I think it depends on the puppies and it depends on the play. I'm not a fan of dogs that are on lead saying hello to another dog. One of the reasons is because you're never sure if another dog is okay, and there is more lead reactivity because dogs don't have the flight option through fight or flight. So on lead, I would say if you want your dog to say hello, it's a 3-second rule. That's in 1, 2, coming out on 3. And that's something that you will be taught in class as well. If it's off lead, I think that you have to learn your dog's body language. But what you don't want to do is wait for it to get too much before you call them out. So I would be practicing sending your dog in and calling them back out, and then they can be rewarded by going back in again. I think, as I say, socialisation is a big topic for people to get their head round. And one of the things that I ask people to do is name your top 3 reasons for why you got a dog. And all my years of dog training and working with dogs, I still haven't found anybody that has said in their top 3 answers, oh yeah, I got a dog, I got a puppy because I want to go to the park and I want to watch my puppy playing with other puppies. I just don't hear that. And I know I haven't got my dogs for that. The number one reason for getting a dog is companionship. But something happens all of a sudden when we've got this dog that we think, oh, my dog needs to go and play with all these other dogs. And I think if you can try really hard to understand, for your dog to be the best companion and the best friend to you and your family, you need to work really hard at building that connection. And then they can be social with other dogs, but knowing that when you call them, they're going to be really keen to come back to you. The other point, which I'm just going to touch on just very lightly, is that if people have had experience of aggressive dogs, whether they've owned them or they've had another encounter, it can put pressure on having a dog that's going to be ultra friendly, and so socialization becomes really, really important. But what also happens when we do that, when we force our dogs to be so sociable with other dogs, they actually become over the top. And so although we think that we're training them to be friendly, that's not actually what happens. They become the annoying person at a party that's jumping all over you and in your face. And that's also not acceptable. So that wouldn't be under the law, that wouldn't be under control. If a dog came running over to me, was jumping up at my leg, even if the person's shouting at me, my dog's friendly, that's unacceptable behaviour. So we have to be really, really careful that we don't go from one extreme to another and force our dog to be overly sociable, because it's not, it actually becomes rude. What we want is a dog that is well-mannered, can interact in an appropriate way within a social setting. I really hope that this video makes sense to you. If it does, give it a love heart. Or if you've got any questions, then feel free to put them in the thread. I'm happy to talk about this more, happy to share my thoughts more, and we can debate it if that's what you fancy to do. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.